styles are coming for us. They're coming for us. They're out to get us. They're out to get us and to drag down our style. And I'm here to fight back and fight the battle with you against styles that we just can't unsee. Once you see these, you know, you may, like I did, have a couple of bad dreams because they're that bad, they're that dated, they're that out of style, they're that unflattering. And so I'm gonna break it down, no holds barred, about 15 of the least flattering and most outdated styles that are currently in stores right now. They're currently in stores right now. And like I said, they're coming for us. They're coming for us. So, you know, my mantra, just because it's in stores doesn't mean it's in style. Just because it's in stores doesn't mean it's in style. There's plenty of stuff that is in the stores right now that is out of style. And most of it is marketed at women over 50. So it's not our fault if we fall for these traps, but that's why I'm here. I'm here to be your fashion friend. I'm here to steer you away from some of these options. Okay, I have a lot to cover, as always. I'm gonna mention, just for those of you who are gonna say something about my hair, that yes, my hair is wet, but I don't have 48 hours to wait to shoot this video. So it is what it is. My hair is dripping wet. I just washed it. Also, if you have not downloaded my Spring Modern Classics Wardrobe Guide, I guarantee you that none of the 15 items on this list have made it into that Modern Classics Wardrobe Guide, because the point is to pick pieces that are modern and classic, that are gonna have timelessness, but also look updated. And that's how you're going to build the foundation of your spring wardrobe. So if you haven't checked that out yet, I would encourage you to do so. Okay, let's get into it. The first thing that is not a thing, the first thing that should not be in stores is the cold shoulder top. Cold shoulder tops are not trending at all. They have not been trending for 60 or 70 or 80 years, something like maybe 6 or 7 or 8 years. These cold shoulder tops that look like this, they're always tunics. They always have a pattern. At least this one's just a stripe. They're always tunics. They always have a pattern, and they're always really flowy. Usually they're in polyester. You know what I'm talking about. These are not cute, and they've not been in style for a long time. Now, when we do see cold shoulder tops pop up here and there in some like contemporary brands, they look very different. They look very different than these oversized printed tunics with the cold shoulder cutouts. Just not a good look. I did see, and you will see some interesting shoulder details or some interesting sleeve details, like this silhouette, this shirt with like the cutout sleeve, like that's a more modern approach to a cold shoulder top. But cold shoulder tops are they're not happening in style right now. They have not been happening for a while. So I would say let's just say goodbye to these. Let's say goodbye. If you still have a couple of these polyester cold shoulder tops hanging out in your closet, it's time. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is the handkerchief hem skirt. I'm saying this with reservations because some of these are coming back again. We are seeing some uneven hems come back again, but they look very, very different. So I'm going to put up some really bad handkerchief hem skirts, like this tropical print thing. The weird thing about the bad hem skirts is that they generally come down in the front rather than going up in the front. And they've just got this weird, uneven, ragged hem. And then it's the combination of that silhouette, which often creates this shape, and the pattern that just really, really doesn't work. So these uneven hem skirts will make you look shorter. They're not flattering, they're not modern, and they're very, very much out of date. Instead, I'm going to share a couple, one from Free People, I think one from Anthropology, that have a little bit more, it's not like just one line like this, it's a little bit more of like a textured up and down kind of hem. This looks a little bit more modern. I think these are still a little tricky. If you're looking for a skirt with this type of a hem, definitely go for the contemporary brands like Anthropology, like Free People, like J. Crew, look for the brands that are in my Modern Classics Wardrobe Guide. These are going to make a much better choice for you. Okay, the next style that I want to talk about that has been out of style, and I'm still seeing them all the time, are the overly bedazzled jeans. These are like the jeans that just have all of the bedazzling on the pockets and the whiskering and the distressing and the top stitching and just all the bling. Again, I know nobody's using that word. I don't care. But these are super, super sparkly jeans. Sparkly jeans like this are just, they have been out of style since, I feel like since 2010, and I still see people wearing them. And they just have so much going on. They've got like these really thick, like jewel encrusted pockets. I don't even remember how we used to sit in those. I feel like they would have been very uncomfortable, but those are absolutely not in style. Again, there is a more modern version of this. So if you're like, but I like my sparkly jeans, well, let me make a couple of other sparkly jeans suggestions for you. I'm really seeing some studded jeans right now. These are so cool. They're so cool. I think these are amazing. One of these is from Veronica Beer. There's a style here from Reformation. These are just absolutely beautiful. And so, you know, these are a more modern version of that bedazzled jean that we all wore back in 2010, 2015, because those are not a thing anymore. Those are not a thing anymore. There's an updated version. And again, if you're looking for some of these styles that are a little bit more statement-y, you want to shop statement pieces from contemporary brands. You don't want to shop statement pieces from over 50 brands for the most part. Don't say I didn't warn you. Don't say I didn't warn you. These styles are super, super cute. Love the ones with a little stripe of embellishment down the side. Just a super modern way to wear this look. Okay, next is the long shapeless tunics. So I've talked about these a lot. The problem is there are good tunics and there are bad tunics, just like with many of these categories. But I'm talking about the long, shapeless, often slinky material tunics, often patterned, often boldly patterned. These are like muumuus, but they're a top, right? They're muumuus, but they're for the top. And a lot of women think that if we've got shape in our belly or in our bust, or we want to look slimmer in our bum, we want to look slimmer overall, we should wear something baggy and shapeless with a distracting print. And I will tell you, the only thing this does is it makes us look bigger, and it also makes us look out of style. These are just not a good option. They're just not a good option. So an oversized, shapeless, and printed tunic, they've not been in style for a really, really long time. Now, we're going to see boho versions of printed tunics and preppy versions of printed tunics that do not look like the oversized shapeless ones I'm talking about. These are more trendy and more personality pieces. So if you've got boho style, there is a specific tunic that aligns with the boho style personality. If you've got preppy style, there's a tunic that goes with a preppy style personality, but it's not these. It's just not these types of tunics. It's just not these types of tunics. I will also say there are some relaxed natural tunics which really look like long shirts. They look like long shirts. So a long sweater, a longer tee, a longer button down. These are going to be much better options for tunics. I'm popping up one here from Frank and Eileen. They look modern, they look simple, they look crisp, they look contemporary. These are much better options if you really are looking for the tunic look. Keep in mind that tunics will shorten your legs. They will shorten your legs, and they do add bulk. Regardless of the style, they do add bulk. So keep that in mind and choose wisely. Okay, next, the big heavy statement necklaces. The big heavy statement necklaces, these are just not a good thing. I don't know what's going on with these necklaces. I still see them on Amazon. I see them on websites. These are like the necklaces that we were all wearing back when J. Crew had the bubble necklace. You know, those types of necklaces that often they're like jewel encrusted and flower encrusted, and they just have so much going on. They look like bib necklaces with lots and lots of jewels and lots of sparkle. Often they come with matching earrings. I had a couple of these and I loved them because they were in style back then, but they're not in style now, and they just look very, very out of style. And truly, you know, I always say that if we're going to do a matched necklace set, it cannot be a matched statement necklace set, like a statement earring and a statement necklace that go together, unless you're, you know, those are the crown jewels. You don't need to be wearing those together. That will always look dated. So fortunately, for those of us who like interests like that in our outfits, and those of us who like statement pieces, there are statement necklaces that are back, and they look completely different than the other ones. And these are really, really cool and really modern. I talked about this a little bit in my spring accessories video, the bold collar, bold necklaces. We're seeing a lot of like solid gold, bold, collared looking necklaces and statement looking necklaces. Those are a very cool option, and a little bit more of a sleek and minimal option. If you want something a little bit more embellished, a little bit more dazzling, I'm going to pop up a couple here that are really great modern versions of these statement necklaces. So this is the update on the statement necklace that many of us were wearing. I'm definitely going to be investing in one of these this season. I love them. I think some of these can be so much fun, and they can be personality pieces. So choosing one that's not uber trendy, but that really speaks to your personal style. The thing about the jewel encrusted floral necklaces from a few years ago is that they were a trend. And so they could never have been a personality piece because they were super, super trendy for a moment. And that now it looks like, oh, that's a 2015 necklace. So you want to find a statement necklace that speaks to your personal style and then keep it in your wardrobe for a long time. Okay, let's move on. Tie-dye lounge sets. Lounge sets are casual enough without us adding a tie-dye material to a lounge set. Like, I don't quite get that. I don't get that. Like, why do you need to make them look like more washed out, more faded than they already are? Like, and especially the multiple colored tie-dye lounge sets. These have been everywhere, and I've been seeing them on like teens and people in their early 20s. These are an example of something that's not out of style necessarily, but just not cute. Just not cute. Like, if anything, we want to elevate our loungewear, and this is what I've been talking about all winter long, is like maybe loungewear that's a sweater knit instead of sweatshirt knit. Maybe loungewear that's in the new scuba knits instead of a fleece, which can often be bulky and often add a lot of shape and a lot of size to our bodies. But especially in tie-dye, and especially in multicolored tie-dye, seeing these everywhere, I think they're just an atrocity. Instead, just go for a dark or a solid, match set. I like this one in dark green. I think this is kind of a take on the Spanx Air Essentials that everyone talks about. But this is from Amazon. It's much more affordable. But just like a matched set is really kind of what's happening with lounge sets right now. Can look a little bit more elegant, a little more elevated. It can be a little bit more transitional. Nobody needs that tie-dye. Thing. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. Whatever. Okay, next is, I'm going to talk about them again, is the Capri Pants. It's the Capri Pants. Oh my goodness. It's the Capri Pant. What in the world is actually happening with these pants? I think that they just do not like us and do not want us to be happy. I'm pretty sure that that's the only explanation for some of these pants. They're horrible. They intersect your calf at exactly the widest part. I'm seeing these, I don't know what they're calling them, pedal pushers. These are from Land's End. Can we all just have, I'm gonna stop for a second just while you guys take these in. Just observe these. Right? I'm not lying. I'm not making this up. Those are the worst things you could possibly put on your legs. If you want to look like a square, you want your calves, your knees, everything to be highlighted in the worst possible way, you go ahead and wear these. Wear these, truly, like they're just, come on. They're horrible. And then, of course, the pedal pushers, what Talbot's calls the perfect crops, which are anything but perfect and are not crops. They really are capris. I'm not here for the pants that intersect us across the widest part of our leg. Those are just not anyone's friend. Now, are there some trending capris? Yes, there are. The first is like the legging pedal pusher, which I just don't know many women who are going to be reaching for these. I don't really think this is going to be something that many of us are going to want to try, but it's a pedal pusher style that is tight all the way down. Just no, like these are just not cute at all. The next style that we're seeing though is we are seeing kind of an updated capri style. I'm seeing these at brands like Reformation, and we're just seeing some really like modern and sleek versions of these. I'm not a model. I don't know how I'm going to be able to pull these off or whether I'll be able to pull these off, but if you want to dip your toe in these capris, you need to style them just like these models. And also you probably need to stand like that too. You need to look just like the models. You need to have those long, lean legs. You need to wear heels. You need to stand at just exactly the right angle. I feel like that's the only way that we're going to make these work for us. I'm going to try these on so you can all have a laugh at my expense. In case you think I just make fun of clothes, I often make fun of myself as well. And I have longer legs for my height, and I just don't know how I'm gonna make these work. Again, I'm gonna try them on, but I caution you again, if they're not styled within an inch of their lives, these are just not going to be our friend. They're not going to be our friend. Okay, the next style, you know I've talked about capris in the past, but I had to talk about them again because I'm seeing them. Extremely distressed jeans. What in the world? What in the world? First of all, distressing has been out of style for a couple of years. And overly distressed jeans. And by distressed, I mean holes. I don't mean faded. Although dark denim is definitely having a moment right now, faded jeans are still very much in style, but I'm talking about jeans with a lot of holes, a lot of rips, a lot of tears. Now, if you've got really, really boho style, this might be a personality piece for you, and then I would say, okay, go for it. But for the rest of us, we're just going to be looking at faded jeans this season, and we're not going to be looking at overly distressed jeans. I especially caution you against the jeans that look cheaply distressed. And these are jeans with like a white strip across the front of the thigh. These are jeans that are like overly white in some areas and overly dark in some areas. Distressed jeans as a rule, if you've got like a mixture of washes on your jeans, like it's not all light or all dark, any jean that has a little bit more of a statement element to it needs to come from a better brand, because they do the distressing in a way that looks like it faded over time naturally, and not like they just added a dot of bleach here, added a dot of bleach there, and called it a day, right? So that type of distressing needs to be a little bit more of an elevated brand. But truly not in style anyway. Don't waste your money buying either all light wash jean, all medium wash jean, or all dark wash jean. Those are not going to date nearly as quickly, and they're going to be a much better look. Okay, moving on. The next style I want to talk about is the elastic waist pants. The elastic waist pants. I love elastic waist pants. I have several elastic waist pants, but they don't look like the styles that you're going to see here. These are often in polyester. They're often in polyester, and they have a very aggressive elastic waistband. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's just like, look at me, my waist is elasticized, my waist is elasticized. Those are not good. They add so much bulk to your waistline. They are definitely they definitely are going to amplify any tummy area. They are not at all versatile because they look overly casual, so you're just not going to get the versatility with them. I'm going to pop up a couple here, and of course you're going to look at these and they're going to be on a model, and the model's going to be standing just the perfect way. Maybe she's standing at a tiki bar or something like that. Not in this specific picture, but like they're always going to like romanticize these pieces. And we have to take the pieces out of the context that they're shown in and bring them into the context of our everyday lives and our everyday wardrobes to really get how these are going to work for us. And these are just not, there's a lot of bulk around the waistline in these pants. They do not look modern. They're almost always in like a really weird chintzy polyester fabric. They're not cute. Instead, there's so many brands that are doing a great pull-on style with an elasticated, but it's like a hidden elastic or a more subtle elastic, and they're just much more modern. One of my favorites, I've talked about them all the time, is the Everlane Dream pants. I have another pair here, another pull-on style. Can't remember this brand, but I'll pop it up. These are a more modern way to wear a pull-on pant that is just as comfortable, but so much more modern, so much more flattering, and also so much more versatile, because you can dress these up and you can dress them down. Okay, moving on. Not sure how many I'm going to end up with in this video, but the next is like the Bad Beaded Necklaces. Often these come as part of sets, and they're like plasticky, oversized, chunky, bulky beads. These have been in style for a long time, and they often have this kind of weird texture to them. There's just a lot going on, and they often come in layered sets, and they're just not like, so it's layered bead necklaces. They're just not in style. They have not been in style. If this is something that appeals to you and like speaks to your personal style, you want like a nicer quality one. You want one that looks like it's actually a stone or a bead material and not something that looks very plasticky. That's really what's going to cheapen this and make it look very, very dated. So I have a couple of other options here. There's one from J. Crew, which is kind of a cool organic pearl bead design, one from Cezanne, another really cool one that's like this chocolate brown color. These are like a more modern oversized bead for 2025. These other ones that are the layered beads in plastic are just not something we should be reaching for anymore. Okay, let's move on to Bolero Shrugs. Now I'm going to say Bolero because that's how that's my mom's accent using the word Bolero, but the rest of you know these as Boleros. These are shrugs that are like a Bolero style. They often cut like right at the bust, right underneath the bust. They're many times they're short sleeve. They're always in a flimsy material, usually like a flimsy knit material, and these are just not the best option. They're so dated, and they really, nothing says I want to cover my arms and that's my only goal is to cover my arms. Like, I don't care how this looks with the outfit. I don't care about anything else. I just want to cover my arms more than one of these. Now, there are a lot of ways to cover your arms. This is not it. And these little knit boleros, I'm popping up a couple here. There's one from Amazon. There's one from a higher end British brand called Hobbs, but it's a very classic brand and a little bit more of a mature brand. It's a little bit better, but these are just not great, especially the ones that curve like the Amazon one. 0 out of 0. 0 out of 0. Those are just not good. Those are not good. So if you do want to cover your arms and you want to do it in a little bit more of an artistic way, at least try a structured bolero, not a flimsy knit bolero. Love, love, love this one. Believe it or not, this is from White House Black Market. I love this. This is an evening one, but if you want to top like a strapless or sleeveless dress for evening, this is beautiful. It's beautifully made. It looks a little bit vintagey. I just love, love, love it. Also love this white leather one from Alice and Olivia. I'm obsessed with that brand. It's not as short as the other boleros, and I think that that's a good thing. This vintage one, I think this is on ThreadUp, this lace, that's a really cool look. Again, you can have that same functionality. You can check all the same boxes, but still have a much more modern look. So I really like these. I'm going to pop a couple of these up that are alternatives to boleros. If you really do want to cover your arms, you want that coverage, but you also want style. You don't want it to detract from your outfit. Okay, moving on. These bad t-shirts, they're kind of like a flimsy polyester blend t-shirt that is specifically marketed at mature women. They often come in patterns, but they're just like a slinky knit. And I'm not really seeing slinky or overly like modal knit or polyester knit t-shirts in contemporary brands. We're just really not seeing that. These are t-shirts that are aimed at just exclusively mature women, and I just don't think they look great. Again, it's that slinky flimsy knit, and often with a pattern. What we're looking for is a t-shirt that is a little bit more structured and can hold its own in an outfit. And another thing you don't want in a t-shirt is that curved hem. We don't want the curved hem in the t-shirt. Those are not going to work in our t-shirts. Like, these curved hems are just they're not a good thing. So you want just a simple, classic, structured t-shirt in either a crew or a v-neck. I'm going to pop a couple up here. The fabric is a little bit more substantial. Maybe it's a Pima cotton. Maybe it's a ponte. Maybe it's just a regular, cotton knit. It's a little bit more substantial. It holds its shape a little bit better. It's going to be a lot more elevated than those weird slinky knits. They're not my favorites. Okay. I'm going to move on to the uber chunky platform sneakers. Again, Michael Kors, again, I feel like you stabbed me in the back. Like, I met Michael Kors a long time ago during Fashion Week, and he is an icon. Like, he's a legend. But the lower end of Michael Kors is just not the place to be. And I don't get these weird platform sneakers from them are just like, oh my gosh. They have the really thick white platform. They're horrible. Often they're sparkly. They always have too much going on. And these are not the way that we elevate ourselves or elevate our outfits. They're going to have the opposite effect. Yeah, we might look a little taller, but they're not. These are not in style. They've not been in style for a long time. I don't know what's happening here. One of the reasons that they're not in style is really only a select few brands actually carry these. They're not and they're very specific to Michael Kors because I think he just keeps selling them again and again and again. I've had to talk several clients away from buying these because they're just not. So instead, like you just want a little bit more of a moderate platform, maybe not in bright white with a black shoe. Like that look is just absolutely dated. I'm gonna hold up. This is an Adidas Gazelle, and again that Sam Edelman sneaker. Again, these are much more modern. Sneaker that will still give you a little bit of lift, a little bit of height. At 5'2", I get that. I get that. If you don't want to wear a heel, but you want some height, these might be a good in-between option. Excuse the lawn work that inevitably happens whenever I'm shooting videos. Okay, next I want to talk about knit ponchos. I feel bad saying this because they can look fun. They can look fun. They can look fun, but they also can be uber bulky. So this is my suggestion about knit ponchos. What you want to avoid are you want to avoid the ones with a straight, like very thick material and like that falls in a straight line at the hem. And you want to avoid just the ones that are overly bulky. You want to avoid the ones that are overly bulky and don't have any shape. So those are really hard to wear. Like if you want to look shorter and you want to look heavier, those are your thing. Those are your thing because they will instantly, like this purple cabled one, like that is just, I mean, if you're a model, you may be able to pull that off, but like really almost nobody's going to be able to wear those well. I just don't get this. These are all currently in stores. And then the one with the voluminous, like extra volume and drape and gathering and all the things, just not, definitely not something I recommend. Now, if you want a poncho that's a little bit more moderate, I like this asymmetrical one in gray cashmere that's worn a little like kind of cool off to the side like that. That's going to be a little bit of a better version. It's not a super chunky or substantial knit. It's a little bit lighter. And then this one from Alice and Olivia, which is more like kind of like a wrap. That's a cool option. And of course, it's very personality driven and very interesting. It has some cool statement details on it and definitely elevates it, but it's just not like overly oversized, overly thick, or overly bulky. That's my problem with knit ponchos. They just add a lot. They add a lot of volume. The next thing I want to talk about is the dated floral print blouse. I'm seeing a lot of these blouses. They are, and I did a whole series on prints. I did a whole 3-day workshop series on prints. And so if you want maybe the backdoor replay link, because the replays are no longer available, and send me a message and I'll pop up my information in the description box and on the screen and everything. And I will get you the replay link for the prints, but you will see after watching that why these prints are not good prints. So there's no interest, there's no subtlety, there's no sophistication. The color palettes are very obvious and very over the top, and the florals themselves do not look elevated and do not look modern. So definitely don't like these floral prints. Now, if you're looking for floral prints, there are some fabulous ones out there. And so I'm going to pop up one. This is such a pretty floral. I think this is from Vineyard Vines. It's beautiful. The colors are rich and saturated. The print is definitely a more elevated print, and it was created by them for them. You know, like it's just, you can tell that this is a high quality print. The next one is also from a brand that I love called The Kit. They do really cool statement pieces. This is a cool print and a cool blouse. So the very least, if you're looking for a pattern and the pattern is dubious, or the pattern is in the middle, or the pattern is borderline, do it in a button-down shirt style or a very simple blouse style. That's going to elevate it a little bit more. But definitely the combination of drapey top or slightly borderline top with borderline pattern, that's what just makes it not work. Okay, the final thing I want to talk about are the waterfall cardigans. I talk about these all the time. Waterfall cardigans, especially waterfall cardigans in a really thin and flimsy fabric. Like the fabric that just kind of like, it's just like barely there knit cardigans in these waterfall patterns or waterfall materials. These are just not, they have not been happening for a long time. They've not been happening for a long time. They're very aging and matronly. I just do not like these. They lack structure. They give you bulk where you don't need it in the front of your body, and they really just kind of create a sloppy look. And I don't love them. So I'm popping up a couple of offenders here. These are the waterfall cardigans I warn you guys about. Again, they are not flattering. They add bulk. they shorten your legs, they broaden your torso, and they also do not look at all modern. So I would recommend instead maybe just a regular classic cardigan in a nice thicker, more substantial knit material. It can be a long cardigan or it can be a waist length cardigan. Those would both be great. I also really like the sweater coat cardigans. Quince has one. Every brand has one. J. Crew has one, but they kind of look a little bit like an elevated cardigan or a casual blazer, but it's a sweater knit blazer essentially. I really love these. Why can't we do these instead of waterfall cardigans? They're so much chicer. They're much more flattering, and they're definitely much more modern. So I know I went on and on. It was quite a rant, but I really had to call out 15 to 16 things that are currently in stores right now that are not doing you any favors. Just like I said, just because it's in stores doesn't mean it's in style. So I'm here to help steer you away from the pieces that are not going to work and guide you to pieces that work a little bit better. If you enjoyed this video, I hope that you will consider giving it a like. It really helps my channel. Share it with a friend maybe. That would absolutely make my day. Just click that little share button and send it to a friend who you think might enjoy it. And then, of course, don't forget to subscribe so we can hang out some more. Love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.